and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Subscribe to this channel to aware of the movement of this shift in consciousness that we are experiencing. 3 weeks ago, one follower of Dolores Cannon sent me a message telling me that I am angry. I am not angry but disappointed because her followers are so gullible. Let me explain what anger is. Anger is what you feel when you don't think you have any choices, when you don't know what your choices are. You're not aware of your choices and therefore in a situation, you become angry. You have a conflict with another individual and they say or do something, and it makes you angry. The reason you're angry is because you're in a position in which you don't know what to do. Therefore, the only thing that you can do is react, because you don't know what to do. You don't know what your choices are. You don't think about all of that because it's all reaction. What happens in that is the only thing that you actually engage, other than being angry, is usually begin defensive, in which you blame someone else or something else and you feel defensive, and you justify yourself. In that, you're doing that because you don't know what else to do. You don't know what your choices are to move forward in a productive and beneficial capacity. What most people do is address both the frustration and anger. They're very close in terms of expressions. The difference is that with frustration, generally eventually you will arrive at some choice. You will give yourself some recognition of some choice, a solution. It may require some time, but you generally will give yourself some type of a solution. In this is the reason that, or one of the reasons, that it is so important to pause and in that, think about what is the feeling that you're engaging, identify it as frustration or anger, and then to be able to turn your attention to what you are doing. If you are frustrated, what you're doing is you're fixed in one direction, and you keep repeating one direction. Which then interrupts your ability to give yourself an answer. And therefore, what are you doing? You're repeating. What you're doing is generally very simple. It's not a complicated answer. It's a one-sentence statement in relation to what you're doing. If you're angry, it's a matter of recognizing you're not seeing your choices. Either situation, the first action to do is stop. If you're frustrated, stop paying attention to whatever it is that's frustrating you and do something different. And then you can come back to that subject later and likely will give yourself an answer. If you're angry, it's a matter of stopping and, in a manner of speaking, asking yourself, what is making this intensity? What am I doing that is creating the intensity in what I'm feeling? First, it's generally your attention is completely outside of you and fixed on something or someone else. You're definitely in the mode of blaming. Blame doesn't serve anyone. Therefore, it's a matter of stopping, looking at that. It's not beneficial to turn it and blame yourself either. Blame doesn't serve anyone. Therefore, it's a matter of looking at the situation, looking at why are you reacting in an intensity, because anger holds intensity. It always holds intensity. Which is also one of the differences between anger and irritation, is that you can be significantly irritated in a moment, but anger generates a very strong intensity. In this, look at what is generating that intensity. Is it fear? Is it blaming not only the other individual but yourself? Is it justifying? Because that can intensify the anger also, which is something that people very frequently do. They become angry at something and then they justify themselves in being angry. Whatever it is, even if you cannot entirely identify what you're doing, there are the basic pieces that you can identify, is that you're likely blaming something or someone else, and you're not certain and don't know what to do about that. And there isn't anything you have to do about that. You don't have to do something about it, other than recognize that perhaps what another individual or a situation has presented to you is something uncomfortable and you don't like it. That doesn't mean that it's something to hold on to blame. It's merely a recognition that you don't like this, you're uncomfortable. If that's as far as you can proceed in the moment, that's enough. And then it's simply a matter of not following the feelings, meaning don't move in the direction of thinking. Because that will not serve you at all. Therefore, in that, it's simply a matter of acknowledging that you're not comfortable and something intense is occurring, and you haven't quite identified that yet. It will come to you if you allow it to. The thinking fights with yourself. That blocks your ability for that information to come to you. Therefore, you're not going to give yourself an answer as long as you're fighting with yourself. And if you're thinking about why you're angry, you're fighting with yourself. Therefore it's a matter of acknowledgement, and then stop. Move to whatever position you can of giving yourself whatever answer you can in the moment. And that's enough. That is important to tell yourself, that's enough. That's enough for now. I was disappointed because most people want to hear what they want, not what the reality is. Dolores Cannon and her explanation about near-death experiences and what happened after death are completely wrong. I explained them in episode 54 and 47. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.